But then very shortly after that, I was detailed to the Director of National Intelligence for 15 months, where I was responsible for monitoring and coordinating a number of comprehensive national cyber initiative activities. I came back to US-CERT in January of almost a year ago now, and then restarted my efforts to get US-CERT kind of ahead of the game, more proactive, and do more planning. So what you see up here, and what you'll see in a couple of slides, is largely a result, despite the typos, largely a result of the strategic planning that we have been doing since the February timeframe. As many of you know, our IG, DHS IG, did a report on US-CERT, less than complimentary, but very instructive. One of the requirements they had was for us to develop a strategic plan. That effort was already in the works when they came up with that finding. And this is a result of it. So fundamentally, lead efforts to improve nation's cybersecurity posture, coordinate information sharing, and proactively manage cyber risk to the nation. So US-CERT's primary mission is to help all of you and others protect the network system and systems, and do it in a way that privacy and civil liberties are protected. Do you have a question? No, it's very hard to do, and we'll get I'd like to get into the dialogue about that because I have a couple of points on later slides to kind of talk to that. This is how we're organized right now. We have a mission management organization, which basically is our ops floor. Our liaisons are in there. External and internal liaisons are in there. And our production people are in there as well, the ones who put together our products and promulgate them out to different communities. And we have detection. Essentially, detection is responsible for maintaining and operating our sensor network, Einstein, and doing some things related to triage, early analytics as incidents come in. Much of our effort, other than mission management and our kind of 24/7, 365 situational awareness we try to maintain, is in our analytic shop. We have some very talented analysts. They've been able to, as I'll get into later, leverage their talents as well as some of the tools that we've acquired, as well as our expanded monitoring through Einstein to really make some significant headway in coming up with indicators and things that helps protect against malicious actors. Then we have our business, very important, always given short shrift, but our business folks who coordinate our acquisition, budget, etc. And there's our vision, trusted global leader in cybersecurity. I'll get to that later. It's in bigger letters on another slide. Okay, as part of our strategic planning effort, what we tried to do, one of the things that we tried to do was identify major muscle movements, things that were important for us to do to meet our mission requirements, but also to meet the requirements of our constituents. And we came up with these for major muscle movements. I'll let you read those. But essentially our operations piece, which is sort of like what mission management does, the 24/7, 365 capability, and they maintain shared situational awareness amongst our community. Coordination and communication, which we deemed in our process to be far more important than the resources that we currently apply to it. So that is a gap that we're working to fill. Planning and development is kind of my major muscle movement, I guess, in an attempt to be proactive, to combine people, technology, and funding and put it in the right place, but not with a short-term focus, with more programmatic, long-term focus. And our capability management, which is just another term for basic data acquisition, budgeting, etc. The two things that we don't do well, I think, as I have said now, the gaps we've identified, is being more robust and have more capability in our coordination and communication, and getting out ahead of the game with our planning and technology development efforts. Okay, here's our vision. Trusted global leader of cybersecurity, collaborative, proactive, and responsive in a dynamic, complex environment. It's a mouthful. I just want to point out a couple of different things. Trusted is a very important concept, obviously, in the cybersecurity community. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of actors, good and bad, putting out information on cybersecurity, and not all of it's valid or relevant or timely. And all those things go toward US-CERT and, in fact, DHS becoming a trusted agent in this mission space, in this arena. Global, cyber has no borders, so we see ourselves having a global role. Collaborative, US-CERT, as I mentioned earlier, can't do this job alone. It requires partnerships, strong partnerships, both domestically and internationally, as well as in the private sector and public sector. Proactive, that's been a buzzword lately. We take it seriously. We've got to get ahead of the threat. We've got to get that's why planning is important. We've got to get out ahead of the bad guy, whether the bad guy's witting or unwitting. And more importantly, or just as importantly, we have to figure out where our priorities are and how we can effectively expend decreasing resources, or what we anticipate to be decreasing resources. Dynamic and complex environment. Everybody here knows, I'm sure, that when you have a solution to the problem, then the problem changes. It's an asymmetric environment, not unlike situations we see on the ground in Afghanistan and Iraq and other places. And we have to be adaptive, and we have to learn how to deal in this environment more effectively than we do now. Okay, this gives us a sense of kind of our mission space and who we deal with for various things. So I'll start with the cybersecurity coordination and incident management. That function we do, and I can't really read that, but and you can't either probably, since my LASIK is not successful here. Right, thank you. So federal departments and agencies, law enforcement, intelligence, private sector, state and local governments, international partners, and the general public. So as you can see in incident response coordination, everybody's important and everybody plays a role. As a matter of fact, the fundamental concept behind the National Cybersecurity and Communications Integration Center is to put representatives, either virtually or physically, representatives of those communities inside that center in order to unify a response to a cyber incident. The next piece there is National Emergency Preparedness and Response. Again, my role as the planner is pretty heavy in this arena. The NCIC is a big player. National Communications System, which is a partner and part of the Office of Cybersecurity and Communications. The National Operations Center, which is Secretary Napolitano's primary operations center, and maintains her situational awareness across the board, really across the entire mission space of DHS. We work very closely with the Office of Intelligence and Analysis. We actually have a team from DHS INA that sits with us at US-CERT and in the NCIC. So we have immediate access to their insights as the DHS part of the intelligence community. And then the Office of Emergency Communications, which is another element focused on communications interoperability and first responders. Cyber threat collaboration involves